A local coffee shop is changing the conversation about what we believe the coffee experience is and what it can be. Pavlina Osta talks with the founder of Milwaukee's Discourse Coffee about plans to change the world, one cup at a time.
Pouring up that indigo velvet for you.
When we think of coffee, we think quick, convenient, and this better wake me up. But at Discourse Coffee in downtown Milwaukee, founder and creative director of Discourse, Ryan Castelaz, is imagining coffee differently.
We want to create a new impassioned conversation around coffee, a new discourse around coffee.
This revived conversation, an innovative way of coffee, started in a small town of just 500 people in Door County.
We found a space in this kind of almost abandoned association of shops. There's probably about half full at the time in Sister Bay, Wisconsin, called Country Walk Shops.
While it wasn't an ideal spot for a coffee shop, Ryan wanted the coffee to be the destination, not just a place you go on your way to somewhere else.
So I started looking towards restaurants and cocktail bars who had done that very successfully. What were the strategies that these people were employing? And what I ended up finding after this research and kind of synergizing it all down was that the common denominator of all of it was story.
And that's when Ryan and his team started to play with the idea of blurring the two worlds of coffee and storytelling.
We call it narrative drink making. So essentially what we do is we start with a story, and then we use the language that we've created to tell that story through drink. So there is very much a language that we speak, right? And a language that flavor speaks, and texture speaks, and temperature speaks, and presentation speaks, and all of these things are subconsciously communicating with us, whether or not we realize it during the drinking experience.
Anything else I can get for you?
For the last 7 years, Discourse has been exploring what coffee can be and how it can invoke a feeling for the guest.
It's much more than just a cup of coffee. It's coming in to know us, to know our stories, to know the things that matter to us, to know the community.
If you're curious about what's on the menu, you'll find unique ingredients like root beer bitters, pork fat, and apple caramel, which can be daunting at first glance.
For many people, this is the first time they've ever heard of coffee being approached this way. And so to be able to take a moment to rise from that discomfort to comfort with the help of your host, and now to go through this journey of who are we, what do we do, why am I here, what should I get? It's a really magical moment.
Last year, Ryan wanted to share what he's learned over the years with you at home and publish The New Art of Coffee.
For me, it's always been about how do we create, how do we motivate, how do we elevate the culture holistically? How do we provide resources for baristas, for drink makers, for dreamers to be able to create this stuff?
What is your hope for coffee, and what is your hope for Discourse?
That it continues to evolve in a way that values the barista as much as it does the farmer and the roaster and the importer. All of these people work so hard, and they should be celebrated in every way, shape, and form. I hope for Discourse that we can be some of the people that convince the world that this is possible.